Welcome everyone to the Magical Mystery School, and thank you so much for coming back and all the likes and subscribes and all that good stuff. And this is a channel where we look at the weekly astrological energy that's moving through our lives here and just get a good update. So anyway, the first thing I always like to do is kind of look back and see what happened last week. And remember, we were talking about how between November 19th and the 21st, retrograde Mercury and the Sun crossed each other, so that they made an opposition pretty much during that time right to Uranus. And what's the key phrase for Uranus? Pop quiz. Expect the unexpected. Okay, so what happened? Well, during that time, we had Marge announced her resignation from the Congress, which surprised me, that's for sure. And this can be very disruptive energy too. But remember, it's interesting because what it's giving us energy towards is this beautiful grand triane in water signs. You know, Scorpio is fixed water, Pisces mutable water, and Cancer is cardinal water. So we've got this wonderful base energy, but sometimes with a grand trine, we can just kind of get stuck going around and around and just going, oh, I feel so good. I don't need to worry about this till tomorrow or whatever. But this gives us an outlet point for this. This makes it a little bit more, you know, we want to deal with it. We want to use this energy. So I think that worked out really good. And of course, when that opposition clicks in, that creates the kite. Okay. We'll just put those guys there to show off our kite here. You can see that pretty clearly, hopefully. All right. If these will quit sticking to my gloves. Okay. And you can see the kite there for sure. Okay. So, and then and I'm recording this before Thanksgiving, but on November 26th, the day before Thanksgiving, we had Venus come in here and activate this beautiful grand trine here. So we're getting a really nice dose of, you know, she's trying Saturn and she's trying Jupiter on that day, on the 26th. So that should be, you know, take this time over Thanksgiving to give yourself a little bit of break. Because on the 27th, the day of Thanksgiving, Saturn up here in Pisces is going to go station direct. And what does station mean? The train comes to the station and stops, right? And so that's what Saturn's doing here. We can see this. Here's our wobble sheet. Saturn goes direct at 2510 Pisces. And look here, Neptune's going to go direct too at 29 Pisces. But boy, Neptune's just sitting there at 29 degrees, literally for about 6 weeks. So anyway, so I hope you had a very quiet, peaceful, you know, just give yourself a chance to take a break and take a breath over Thanksgiving. You know, Saturn should, you know, is a little bit more serious, but at the same time, it's calming. Okay. Then on November 29th, we've got Mercury stationing direct at 20 degrees Scorpio. Okay. And now it's going to be in its shadow until December 17th. And what is a shadow? Well, and excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. I'm recovering though, so, but if my voice sounds a little weird, that's why. Anyway, so Mercury, as Mercury was coming along, when it hit 20 degrees Scorpio way back when in October, it entered that shadow period. It went all the way up to, but it was still direct. Then it went all the way up to 6 degrees Sagittarius, stationed retrograde. So it went all the way back to 20 degrees, and now it's stationing direct here. So the shadow period is when Mercury's going to be in that shadow until it gets back to the 6 degrees Sagittarius. So it's that period when Mercury's going over the same place 3 times. So Mercury's going to be going over this too here coming up. But for November 29th is when it does go direct at 9:38 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And really, if you want to let me know how you did during this Mercury retrograde, are you a sensitive person or not sensitive? Like, excuse me, for myself, I'm the kind of person, yeah, I do feel the Mercury retrograde, especially the week, 5 days, 3 days before it stations retrograde. And then that first week is usually the most intense for me. And then it kind of mellows out. Now, some of you that might be Geminis or Virgos, that you're ruled by Mercury, you may feel this more intensely. So let me know. And of course, you know, this is happening the last 10 degrees of Scorpio and the, say, first 10 degrees of Sag. So this retrograde, this shadow period. So those of you who are right at the end of Scorpio, so like November 10th to the 20th, same right at the beginning of Sag, so that would be the November Sages. You may have been feeling this even more personally too. So kind of see how it works for you. Then on November 29th, we've got Venus coming in and opposing that same day, a little bit later in the day, opposing Uranus and activating this kite again. So after Mercury going station retrograde or direct, and then Saturn being station direct, this Venus opposing Uranus is really going to kind of get the energy moving. With these guys just being, stopped up in the sky, they're, maybe the energy might be kind of just sort of sitting there and bubbling away, that sort of thing. But Venus will get it going for us. Now, remember, Venus is still going to be in Scorpio at this time, and Uranus is down here in Taurus. So this could be secrets, all right, about, Scorpio, what's this, the catchphrase for Scorpio in the 8th house and Pluto, sex, death, and other people's money. To me, and Venus there, I always think of the Persephone myth, and that to me is Epstein. So we'll see. This could be a real struggle with those secrets coming out. There may be some people really trying to stop it, the opposition, but it probably will go ahead and break through. Then on November 30th, we've got Venus trine Neptune. So that's going to be, it's already trine, Saturn and Jupiter the day before Thanksgiving, but now it's going to be reinforcing this grand trine again on the 30th. And really, with this Neptune and Venus, remember that Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, so that means they have very similar energies. It's just that Venus is going to be more personal, and Neptune is going to be more collective, but it's very similar types of energy. And Neptune being down here at 29 degrees, oh, I should say this. So Venus is kind of like the beauty queen, okay? In the physical sense, the Empress is is the key for Venus. But Neptune, the key for that is, here we're seeing things from a totally different perspective, upside down. And we're seeing things differently, basically. But Venus, I think, is the beauty queen, and Neptune, because there's so much illusion and glamour and, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like more like the drag queen. I don't know if you've ever been to any of those drag shows, but sometimes you just look up at those entertainers and it's like, how could that be a man? It looks, the Neptune gossamer veil is very evident in those situations. So with Neptune being at this 29 degrees, and like I said, look at this. Neptune went into Pisces October 22nd, And here it is going direct December 10th. So that's 4 weeks in November, a week in October, and a week in December. 6 weeks. And it's moved 37 minutes at 29 degrees. So it is barely moving at all, right? This is the time when you really want to just keep your dreams, do a dream journal, and then think about the dreams that you have for yourself. This is really also telling us that truth is going to start bubbling up. And I think of Neptune bubbling as kind of like, Neptune rules oil and gas and things like that. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen the La Brea tar pits or anything like that. And the bubbling is like bloop, bloop, bloop. I mean, it's not like a fast boil of water or anything like that. So just remember, things are going to be coming up kind of slowly but surely, all right? Also, when I was thinking about this, the movie What the Bleep came to mind. If you haven't seen that, check it out. It's a great movie on quantum physics as well as just awakening in general. And there is a gal, the main figure, she does go through an awakening process. And that's going to be more what it's going to be with Neptune, where it's not going to be like, floop, we turn on the lights and everything is, the light shining on everything. It's more like, we're going to be groggy, trying to get our eyes open and all that kind of stuff as Neptune goes into Aries here. So at this 29 degrees Pisces, just remember, we're all in the void right now. We're all, things are dissolving around us, right? So there should be, stillness, that kind of thing, getting in touch with your breath should be a little bit easier right now. And one of the big things I want to encourage everyone to keep forefront in their mind, and I love this expression, uncaused joy. Just, raise your own energy. Don't be happy because you got that job or you've got that car or that new lover or whatever it might be. Just be happy because you want to be a happy person, okay? So really start to focus on just uplifting your own spirit. And the first place I go to is my heart chakra, and just you'll feel that buzzing. The more and more you can let go of the future and the past, you'll start to feel that buzzing of being in the now. And also with Venus, being the great goddess of abundance here, and you can see she's sitting on all this wheat, and she looks very, very comfortable. Some say she's pregnant. And she's got the water flowing behind her. Her garden is growing quite well, for sure. And of course, you see the Venus symbol there on her shield. That can also help give this Neptune in Pisces some form. Now, Saturn there is also very helpful. But Neptune in Pisces, mutable water, I mean, it can be literally like pouring water on the floor and it just goes everywhere. But with Saturn and Venus, we're going to have some sort of container, which is actually going to really help us out a lot during this transition period. Then we're still on November 30th, about 12 hours later, Venus is just going to slide right into Sagittarius. Okay, so Venus in Scorpio, is more secretive, it's fixed water. They're either going to hate you or they're going to love you, that kind of thing. They will keep your secrets till their dying day, but if you tell on their secrets, you're done for, you're gone. They're, you might as well be dead to them, right? Venus, some of the lower aspects of Venus and Scorpio can dabble in those illicit affairs and that kind of thing, kind of get off on that sort of thing. But as Venus goes into Sagittarius, here we've got love, because they just love, right? It's very playful energy. They want to have adventures and travel and have fun. This is where if you do get involved with a Sag, you might want to be their friend first, So they're kind of in the feminine energy, you know, a gal pal kind of relationship. But just remember that relationship can shift, you know, be friends first, then go for romance, and then go for commitment. You know, kind of go by steps. Don't just like jump in with, if you jump in with a Sag and say, let's make a commitment, they're going to run. I can tell you that, because Sag is freedom and independence to a fault. And they're also honest to a fault, and they expect honesty from you. So again, they can, if they catch you in a dishonest thing, they're not going to be, they're very happy with you. Because the thing with Sag, and I guess I could say this about all fire signs, Aries, our first sign, is very childlike. Leo is another, more like a teenager, and Sag, you know, this can be kind of naive about things. So that's why they can get their heart broken when they find out they've been lied to or something like that. Okay, then by December 2nd, Venus is going to sextile Pluto. So remember, sextiles are always complementary elements. So that's fire and air, just like a sextile with these two complementary elements would be water and earth. Okay, so so that's going to really promote, with Pluto there, strong feelings again, and just a keen, insightful perception. This can be energy where they can see right through you, right? This can also be that time when you do upgrade a relationship. Maybe you go from friends to romance. Maybe you get that promotion at work. Maybe you, you know, upgrade something around your home, you know, your bathroom or something like that. But tell what's on my mind. But this can be it. So that will be December 2nd, and upgrading in relationships in general. Then on December 4th is when we have the full moon. So I'm going to go ahead and take this kite away and show you, focus on the full moon. Just remember though, this kite is all part of the full moon. I mean, it's not like it's gone or anything like this kite energy. In fact, that's what we've got building up to it. But remember, with the full moon, it's always the opposition. So the sun is and it's at 13 degrees Gemini. So that means the moon is at 13 degrees Gemini. And then the sun is going to be directly opposite that at 13 degrees Sag. So, and we can just put a nice opposition there, right smack in the middle of the signs there. So, the thing I really wanted to point out about this is, even though we've got this opposition here, what we've got is the square, okay, because we've got north node at 14 degrees and south node at 14 degrees. Maybe I'll put those on the inside too here. Okay, and like I was saying, remember Mars set off this T-square last week. Well, now with the sun and moon, we've got a grand square because we've got this opposition in play also here. And what that's going to be, it's going to be similar in that. Remember last time we were talking about how this could be energy where you're just out of step with society, basically. Like the example I used was that gal that shot her puppy dog and wrote it in a book. And I'm sure she had no idea of the backlash she was going to get for that, right? But she did. So get ready for some stuff like that to happen again, but more with the square to the moon. This is going to be more out of step with the feminine. So I wonder if there might be difficulties there with the survivors of Epstein, that kind of thing. With the sun in Sagittarius, this could be just basically out of step again with society, with foreign affairs. Sag rules foreign energy, that type of thing. So just remember, we could get that energy going pretty good here. And I wanted to just show you this square here, because remember, squares are always when you have the same modalities, and the modalities are the cardinal fixed mutable. So just remember, it's cardinal fixed mutable, Gemini, mutable air, cardinal fixed mutable, mutable earth, Virgo, cardinal fixed mutable, Sag, mutable fire, cardinal fixed mutable, cardinal or mutable water, Pisces. So so just be ready. There may be some blocks there with our self-expression, our sun, as well as our creativity. But this is a time to, try things in little bits, try, experiment. If you've got an idea that you want to go through with, maybe discuss it with some friends and stuff before you go big public with it. Because your friends might go, I don't know, that sounds a little risky to me, or not quite, they might be able to help you massage it more so that maybe for the new moon when you come out with it or something, that it'll be an even better form, basically. Okay, so next week we're going to talk about, we've got Mercury here coming up and going to be opposing Uranus one last time for the third time. This will be our last kite, and it'll be from Scorpio, so we'll see. And then Neptune is going to go direct. Both of those happen on December 10th. And then we're going to have Mercury slide into Sag. So that's will be kind of fun too. And Mars is starting to kick up some dirt by squaring Saturn and stuff like that. So we'll talk about all that good stuff next week. And I hope to see you then. And I hope you have a great week. And thanks a lot for everything. And just remember, from there to here, from here to there, funny things are everywhere. Bye.